Hey guys, today we are reviewing the etching parts from Madworks that is meant for the real grade Sazabi. If you ever wanted your Sazabi to stand out, this is probably the part that you want to experiment on. Now these etching parts are basically, what, aluminium, I would say?
They're aluminum.
Right, they're aluminum, so you actually have to be very careful, and when you put them on to your real grade Sazabi, you actually look really awesome. So the etching part actually come in 4 different pieces, you can see here. So they are every single piece, they are not actually meant in glue, it's just the protective film coating, and as you can see that you can actually flex and film them, they will not break, right? Because they're made of aluminium. And of course, you know, I thought who would be better than Zol, our professional guest gunpla builder, to try out and build the etching parts on a Sazabi.
The only reason I got it because I'm his neighbor and the closest one he can call on.
Yeah, I guess because I don't really have the right skill set. So when you actually get the etching parts, you will have to tear off the protective coating, which is sometimes therapeutic, I suppose.
That film where you always get with every electronics, that feeling of tearing it off, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
It was quite fun, right? So if you look at the etching parts here, this is how we actually used to take out this small etching part from the plate itself. You can use a hobby knife, or you can maybe use a nipper, but you have to be very careful because the gates are actually quite thin.
Yeah. But thankfully, it's only on the one runner. Everything else is just sealed with that film. It'll be taken off very easily. It's just that one runner you have to be very delicate with.
Yeah, so just make sure that you're very careful, very gentle when you take out the etching parts from the runner, and make sure you don't cut yourself in the process.
Yeah, and if you're more experienced than us in doing this, there's probably a better way to do it. We're very new at this, and we just manhandled everything. Now, when you're starting to do this, you're gonna need a few things. Actually, a lot more than I'm gonna show you. You're definitely gonna need your hobby knife, a pair of tweezers, and super glue, or whatever kind of adhesive that you have, and maybe a toothpick to apply it on. You're also gonna need maybe some Fraser screwdrivers to punch in some holes. What's this? Sandpaper to sand off some parts. And yes, you are gonna be cutting some things away from your real great Sazabi. And for me, that was not a fun thing to do.
Yeah, so it's actually how you put on the etching part, because at first when I actually got this is my first experience as well.
It's my first experience as well, dude.
I actually thought the etching part had some adhesive to it. So actually, no. That is where the super glue actually comes in, right? Because the aluminium and plastic, you can't use the normal typical hobby cement. You will have to use the super glue to actually glue every single etching part onto the Sazabi itself. And this is how you should do it. Zo, maybe you want to go through the details with our viewers here.
Again, there's a lot of ways to do this. The gentle way, the one that we did, was take a little dab, use our toothpick, and dab it onto the part itself. And take that metal piece, just stick it on there and let it dry. Or, if you're not experienced, like the both of us, and this is the word we're gonna use a lot, manhandle.
Yeah.
And I'm really not kidding when I said manhandle. Even though it says use a pair of tweezers to do everything to get them all in place, it's much easier if you use your hands. It's more tactile, and come on, it's your hands. You have a better feel than anything.
Yeah, just be very gentle when you're bending some of the parts as we are showing you here, because not all the etching parts are actually flat. You know, some of them do have to have a curve, such as what you're putting here on the booster.
The fuel tank, I think. Okay, and you're probably wondering why is this video coming out right now, considering the Sazabi came out last year and we're only doing this now. Well, Mike and I, we're adults, we have jobs, and one of us actually has kids. We don't have time to do this. And yeah, it took some very careful timing to do this. Even now, we're kind of rushing it on. Mike, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, the etching parts from Madworks for the real grade Sazabi, it definitely makes the kit stand out a lot more, right? The only thing is, as we have mentioned earlier, you know, this was our first time dealing with etching parts, so we were also, you know, in a learning process. And also, because the etching part do not have any adhesive, it also takes up a lot more time to actually dab the adhesive carefully on the plastic parts of the Sazabi to make sure that you don't put too much, because sometimes if you put too much super glue on the plastic, you get the white after effect, which makes it look very, very ugly. So I think Zul did a fantastic job in putting up the etching parts. But Zul, I really want to hear from you, man. How was the overall experience in building this? Obviously, this is not meant for beginners, right?
No,
it's not easy.
no. Come on, you and I are the average Joe Gundam builders.
Yes.
Plamo builders, and I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but when I messed up, I definitely messed up some things on when I was doing this, especially with the glue. Sometimes I put way too much, sometimes I put too little, and I had to go back, and it left that stain, that dried stain, and they're really hard to remove. And sometimes it's aggravating as sin. That's why it took so long. If I made a mistake, you know, I'll F this, I'm gonna move on with my life. And then I had to go back because I promised I would do this on time. Really, you just need patience and a lot of practice. It's kind of like people complaining about water slide decals. I rather do dry decals.
Yeah, I mean, to some people who have never experienced using water decals, they probably find the first time quite difficult. Just like this is the first time that we're dealing with etching parts for the Sazabi, it is definitely, they require a higher skill level.
Yeah.
But if you're a beginner or if you're an average gunpla builder such as us and you're trying to level up, this is probably the right step for you. But as Zoe mentioned, you do need to have a lot of patience because you do need to play with super glue, right? But overall, as I mentioned earlier, Zoe, I think you did a fantastic job. I will have to say that, you know, together with the bonus water decals that's given by Madworks for the first batch, the entire kit looks great. As you mentioned, the etching parts was not placed in, it's not required in every single part of Sazabi. So it doesn't look like it's overdone.
No, and they're very sparse. They highlight certain areas. Those what was it, knee joints?
Yep.
Yeah, there's silver highlights there, and predominantly on the backpack, the fuel tank especially. Again, whether it's needed or not, it does make the Sazabi stand out a lot more than just your standard out-of-the-box build.
Yes, and I actually really like all the the silver parts on the knee, as you mentioned, on the legs, on the cockpit, and also at the back of the funnel system, and especially on the beam rifle. It really makes the thing stand out, right?
It does.
Initially, I was actually thinking about spray painting the kit in matte finish. But then, when I look at the overall finishing of the etching part, I don't think that it will look. It won't be a good combination.
Nah. I mean, I think a gloss finish would be better, but
yes, I agree.
Of course you would. Though I would recommend doing that, I don't know, before or after you applied the upgrade kit though.
Yeah, I have to agree. So for you guys who have never tried etching parts before, you know, there are not many brands out in the market, and Madworks is from Taiwan. I think they are relatively new in this space. They actually produce quite a lot of hobby tools as well, but this etching part is definitely something new for us, and I really like how it looks at the back of the booster thruster kit for the Sazabi.
If you look very carefully, a lot of the metal parts actually go to the rear of the kit. You know, there are actually a lot of metal pieces go onto the back skirt, the booster, and I think that's where most of your time is gonna be spent. On the front, it's predominantly just water slide decals, and you get quite a good few, quite a big sheet essentially, and you're gonna need them to make this stand out. Mike, anything?
Yeah, I think if you can find the Madworks etching parts from your local hobby stores, and if they still have the first batch, you will be able to get the bonus water slide decals. I'm not sure whether they still give it out right now as a bonus, but I think you probably need to pay separate if you miss the first round of pre-orders. Having said that, I will say that it's definitely worth putting on the etching parts for the Sazabi. The only thing is, in terms of time and patience
and skill,
right? You would definitely mess up some parts if you're doing it for the first time, like Zoe and myself. The only thing that's missing from this Sazabi, as you can see, it's quite plain because we didn't really have time to panel line it yet.
No.
There was no time to give it a clear coat.
Nothing.
Overall,
like I said, this is just an out-of-box build, just to show you what can be done further with the Madworks upgrade kit, you know?
Yes. So I have to say, overall, this real grade Sazabi was already very impressive kit. Not only in terms of the mechanical engineering, the inner frame, but also as the size is one of the biggest rear grade in the market
Yes.
today. And if you bolt on the etching parts, you know, on the axe, the armor, the shield,
Wherever.
yeah, wherever, right? I mean, there's so many different parts where we can't even show because there's so many different etching parts that Zoe has spent a lot of TLC time with the Sazabi. Thank you, Zoe. It's definitely worth the effort.
Thank you for giving me the kit to build, and I'm actually thinking of getting one myself.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the Sazabi, I also am thinking actually of getting another Sazabi.
Wow.
Just to give it a flat coat, because you know I have a thing with flat coat mobile suit kits. Just to give it that
Are
rustic
you sure?
design.
Because I thought you're like the predominantly glossy guy.
Oh man, you should have seen my collection, right? So I would love to hear from you guys whether you guys have tried building kits with etching parts before, and if not, let us know. Will you be trying this out? Zoe, you want to say something?
Before we go, Mike, how much did you get this? What is the prices going on right now?
I'm not sure. I think price will vary depending on which country you're from, but I will actually put the link down below for where you can actually order this if you're in Malaysia or other countries. I'll also put in the links for Madworks Facebook page because they have all the step-by-step instructions on their Facebook page on how to put on every single part for the etching part for the Rear Sazabi, which I've also included into this video as well. At the end of the video, you can see how every single piece fits together nicely for the Rear Sazabi. A special thanks to Angel Trend Trading and also Madworks Malaysia for providing the review unit for us to try it on. So we will also put in the links to their pages. If you're interested to buy from them, please do and check it out from them.
They're definitely a company to support. Considering, I know this review might come a bit negative, but trust me, we actually did enjoy doing this, despite the aggravation. But what they're doing is something incredible, and I think something that every modeler should experience at least once in their life. You know, taking a model kit and just upgrading it further and improving your skills. That is the thing about plomo building, right?
Because it is a discovery of something new in the plomo world, right? Because when you first started out, you're using crappy nippers, then you upgrade to a proper nipper like Godhand or Tamiya, then you upgrade to, you know, cement, water decals. So this is one of the other level up skill set that you require to play around with this, right?
Again, this is something just gonna take some time, and I recommend starting on maybe a high grade and just find whatever metal parts you can find, practice on that before moving on to this.
Yes.
Because this is actually, depending on availability, it can be very expensive, and the Sazabi is not a cheap model kit to begin with, so you do not want to screw up. So practice and practice, and good luck to you.
Okay, so final word again, thank you so much to Madworks Malaysia and also Madworks Taiwan for sponsoring the etching parts. We actually paid for our real grade Sazabi. We didn't get sponsored for the kit, but we just got the etching part for free, and you know, just to try it out, see how hard it was. So we hope you enjoyed the review. If you have any questions, please leave your comments down below with a hashtag of which country you're from, and Zoe here will try to reply if he can when it's available.
I'm quite active. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but yeah. Again, my YouTube name is Kane Muhammad, and yeah. So if you have any questions, just let it be known in the comment section, and I'll reply back as soon as I can.
Alright, so thank you so much for watching. I know we've been rambling on a little bit because we were just excited playing with etching parts for the first time. So let us know what you think about it in the comment. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel.
Like and subscribe. Bye bye.